Welcome back everyone to theCUBE, live coverage here at MWC 2026. I'm John Furrier, host of theCUBE, my co-host Dave Vellante. 3 days of wall-to-wall live coverage, MWC, a telecom operator show turning into an AI show as AI comes into the network edge, the core, infusing intelligence which will change the game, how routes are handled, user experience, and everything in between. We've got a great founder here who's building a really amazing edge solution, of course. We love the hyper-converged edge. Fabrizio Del Maffeo, CEO Axelera AI, good to see you. Thanks for coming on, you're right next door.
Thanks for having me
You're
here.
our neighbor right here.
Absolutely.
I really I interviewed Alexis, your GM, CMO, last week in the States. Really amazing track record you guys have. You were early, 4 years ago, made a big bet. It's looking good, as they say, middle of the fairway.
Yeah,
right?
well,
looking good. Take us through the origination story, how it all started. You guys have this really cool edge, the vision is in line with the market. Take us through the story.
Yeah, okay. I'm an engineer. I'm trained as an engineer. I worked 20 years in computing. In 2015, I launched my first product in Kickstarter within ASUS Group. I became a good product line. In 2018, I convinced Intel to give me a chip to launch the first AI accelerator for edge devices. It was a chip from Movidius, a company that Intel acquired. And what happened is that thousands of customers purchased that solution, but the chip was not meant to accelerate AI at the edge. And then I thought, can I do something? Is there any solution I can bring to market? And I decided to quit. I was in ASUS, I was an executive, and I quit, and I went back to read papers and reach out to the best minds that we have in Europe, ETH of Zurich, IBM Labs in Zurich, IMEC, and after 1.5 years of struggling, tried to raise money, in July 2021 we started Axelera AI, and today we are here.
Yeah, it's a great origin story. Just quit everything, drop it, go for it. And now the market here, cloud native, hyperscalers, now gone full hybrid cloud. So cloud and hybrid architectures coming under the doorstep of, say, telco. Their customers are becoming enterprises, consumers, businesses. And as they think about AI, they got the data, they got the networking. But the nodes are disaggregated, they got virtualization, they got a radio network. So hyper-converging everything into a box with an AI factory is what we see. NVIDIA going to that spot, everyone's going that way. And you don't need to have a huge $1 million NVIDIA rack. You can put some compute, memory.
Correct.
And you have an intelligent AI, mini AI factory at the edge.
Yeah, you're completely correct. I mean, today what we still see on the market is large investment, hundreds of billions to build up AI factory, gigafactories to train networks. But we are entering, actually, we are already inside the inference era where we have to run the network, and you can run the network in a very efficient way inside an edge devices. You don't need, as you said, a big factory. You can decentralize this. It can be inside the base station. It can be in a data center in proximity of you. You can run actually in future in your phone. And this is what we believed 5 years ago. Everyone thought we were crazy, that it would not happen, but it's happening now.
And the thing about the telecom is that they're living in the old way. Cell bandwidth, cell connectivity, average revenue per circuit. Now they're moving to an AI operator where it's not selling connectivity, but it's a managed platform. Right. Then you got not per circuit, it's revenue per service. Well, it's all changing. This is an architectural reset. Share your vision.
Well, first of all, I'm a telecommunication engineer. Then I'm biased because I studied that market, but correctly as I said, when I studied 25 years ago, everything was about the bricks, building up an hardware infrastructure. Today, the telecom business is services. And what I believe is that the technology that we are bringing to the market, but that you see popping up, allows really to completely change what is the telecom business of today, that moving from data, pure data and access to the network, to real services customized for the single users. They have everything, they have data, they have users, is the natural evolution of it, bringing services.
So I made a statement on my write-up, I'll just share it with you, I'm going to read it and I want you to get your reaction. The hyper-converged edge may prove to be the most important infrastructure transition since virtualization reshaped the data center. For telecom operators, the choice is clear. Collapses silos, embraces unified control planes, monetize AI and security at the edge, and deliver governed autonomy at scale. What's your reaction?
Well,
yes?
Yes.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, yes, absolutely what you do. I think that there is a need nowadays, it's not only driven by sovereignty, but in general to have back the data, to have back the infrastructure, to insource what we outsource. This is valid for people, but also for enterprises, small and medium company, including also telecom company that were disrupted essentially by hyperscalers.
Yeah.
Then the question is, what is going to happen in that market?
So I have one question for you because I won't name the name of the telecom operator, they're big. They have, just on retrofitting their footprint, central offices, towers, which has power, okay, and small cabinets and large cabinets, not big buildings, you know. Their refresh cycle is coming, it's already happening. The refresh retrofit with an AI factory box like you is in the tune of about $100 billion over 3 years. That means they're looking at refreshing essentially all their footprint to bring intelligence to that node, to build a factory, an AI node, basically. What do you think about that? Is that where you guys sitting? Are they making the right move?
I think that this number that looks so big is not so big because the computing needs are growing exponentially. We are inside three kind of exponential, more user, larger network, and more needs of running the same network for agents. Then I think that we will see more and more telecom provider investing in that direction, decentralizing, but putting on the table hundreds of billions to create value on services, not anymore in the hardware per se.
And your product, which you sell to, what's the product? Share the product.
Well, our product is a product that can deliver extremely high throughput for inference, running network efficiently at a fraction of power consumption and price of any other product in the market. Then, for us, when I hear this kind of trends on the market, I just smile because I think that the best is yet to come. It's just day one.
Yeah. So let's get into the product. So you call it Metis?
Yeah, the first is Metis.
Okay, and it's an AI chip. 214 trillion computations per second.
Correct.
And it only takes 10 watts.
Correct.
Right, and you've got this in-memory computing thing. So you use an SRAM. Normally you would have separate circuits consuming all the power, but you've got this crossbar that means lower power. Explain that.
Yeah, it's correct. Essentially we reinvented the technology looking inside a neural network. If you look inside neural network, you see that 70 to 90% of the operations are just vector matrix multiplications. Essentially you multiply numbers. We create a specific engine called digital in-memory computing, which is essentially putting together, merging the memory and the small computing element to do this calculation. It means that we transform a memory, an SRAM memory, in a powerful compute array. Then we can deliver extremely high throughput, low power consumption because we don't move too much the data, which mean, and then high density of compute, which means low cost per chip. Then it's pretty unique technology. Metis is the first that we have on the market with more than 500 customers and growing 50 per month. But we have Europa coming in Q2, which is even more powerful. 630 TOPS, small power envelope, 30, 40 watts. For generative AI, you can imagine running powerful generative AI network in a small computer. And then we are enabling this era.
Yeah, you're a mini AI factory.
Absolutely.
You're a mini AI factory.
Absolutely.
You're tripling the performance per watt.
Yeah,
right?
and this is the second, and right now we are also developing, half of the company is working on the third one, Titania, that we announced, but we cannot disclose too much, which is really for AI inference inside enterprises. Same value proposition. extremely high throughput, fraction of power consumption and cost, democratization of AI.
So you sell the chip, but you also sell, can I get it on a PCIe card?
Absolutely, but I mean, in our market, we design the chip, but the ecosystem is extremely important. Then we have a very solid ecosystem of partners. We have companies such as Dell, HP, Supermicro, which we work with, Lenovo, Advantech, and we deliver, customer can buy directly from our partners the entire solution, the chip, with the system. But we design the chip, we design also the card.
You have an SDK? Or?
We have an SDK which allows very fast transition from any kind of hardware to our solution.
So explain the market. So everybody knows about NVIDIA and training and everything that's happening. Inference at the edge, John, you've written about it. Real-time inference at the edge. You don't want to take those big honking training CPUs and put them out there, it's too expensive, right? So that's the opportunity that you're going after.
Correct, it's just that when you train, the process of training network runs mainly on NVIDIA and other few players in the world, and is highly centralized. You need to have tens of thousands of CPU connected to train this huge network. But once the network is trained, actually, it's pretty straightforward to take it and run it efficiently at the edge if you have the right technology and the right tools like Axelera has.
Okay, so then NVIDIA they understand that their training chip is not going to play at the edge, so they go out and spend, what, $20 billion in license Grok with a Q, right? And so they see the opportunity as well. What do you think about that?
Well, I think it was a great move from NVIDIA and a great exit for Grok. They are complementary. I think it's a validation of our thesis that inference needs a different kind of architecture and that new company like us can disrupt the market, bringing something more efficient, more cost effective.
If the market for training is X, how much bigger is the TAM, the total available market for inference at the edge?
There are different data in the market. Someone says 60%, but it's going probably to 70 to 80%. You will train less and less the network and run more and more the network, because as I said, there is a 3 exponential curve of adoption of inference at the edge, which is more user, larger networks, and then also more networks that you need to use to run agents.
So 1.6x, or no?
No, I'm saying that if
100%
is the market, 40% is training, and 60% is inference. Personally, I think it's 70 to 80% inference, and we see this growing fast and fast.
And that market is how big? Trillion, 2 trillion,
I mean,
4 trillion. I mean,
for chip, it's in the order of 100 of billions. For system infrastructure, it's trillions. Clearly, we're talking about probably in coming years tens of trillions of
hundreds of billions this decade.
Hundreds of billions today.
Yeah, today, right. We're talking about $1 trillion market by the early part of next decade.
Absolutely. Yeah. Computing is necessary. It's changing everything. It's changing everything.
And the edge is the last spot that needs it, because that's where the action is. And then the far edge, like here at the show, they talk about the far edge, which is wireless.
And we're at the beginning of this. I mean, consider all the computing that are in the physical world around us. All of them will become intelligent. And I'm not even talking about robotics.
Yeah.
Because robots will need a powerful, efficient brain, and they will run at the edge, clearly. You will not have a centralized control of robots. How many robots will be around in 20 years?
A lot.
A lot of
robots. 20 billion, definitely more than people.
And it's already booming now. So the question on distributed intelligence.
Yes.
So the centralized factories will be there. They're being built.
For sure.
Edge is the edge node. Maybe metropolitan, there's fiber. You got all the far edge. How does the distributed nature work for you guys? Do you guys talk to each other? Can we synchronize?
I mean, I think we are part of an ecosystem where everyone plays his role. Our role as Axelera at least is from the edge to the far edge. We want to cover that. We want to connect all the dots and the user between the edge and the far edge. When it comes to really centralized AI factories for training, I think that a company like NVIDIA will have this competitive edge that is still there, and actually we love them, we use them, and they are great.
What I like about your product is that our research and our narrative that we've been talking about is that there'll be so many devices at the edge, they're disaggregated, it's too much to manage. It has to be software defined. So the software will ultimately determine what inference to do, so you're just going to be like, hey, here's the inference platform, edge.
Absolutely.
Run the software on all you want.
I mean, think about it. I think in 10 years, your car will become an edge inference engine. You can imagine your car, while you're not using it, to run inference, to run services, to be used in infrastructure, fully integrated. It looks crazy today, but it's not, if you think about it. Yeah. You have cars everywhere, parked, doing nothing. This can be an inference engine.
Okay, so
computing everywhere.
Dumb question, but I'm going to ask this sequence anyway. So you know the market, you looked at the market, you saw NVIDIA rising. Yes. You chose, why did you choose to go to the edge versus taking NVIDIA head on? Because you realized, no way, right? You're not going to be able to take NVIDIA head on.
Correct.
Okay. So, the reason for my question is, remember Elon was going to build a data center chip. Yes. And he thought about it. Yes. And they've got, with Tesla, they have chip design expertise. Yes. They have the MPU and so forth. They decided not to do that. Yet, Amazon, Google, Microsoft are all building sort of data center chips.
Yes.
Meanwhile, NVIDIA's going at a pace of, every year it comes out with more crazy chips. What do you think about the future of things like Trainium and Maya, TPUs? Will they be able to, based on your expertise, as an independent play journalist now with us, will they be able to keep up with NVIDIA? We heard Matt Garman with G2 say, well, 18 to 24 months is our cycle. Whereas NVIDIA's every 12 months, 5x performance, 10x the bandwidth, 1/10 the cost. How do you keep up with that if you're
taping out? How fast are you taping out?
Well, I think the point of taping out, everyone can tape out each year, each 2 years. It's the entire ecosystem that NVIDIA built that is extremely strong, and it's not anymore a matter of tape out a chip. NVIDIA is building its data center. Yes, it's an infrastructure company. It's not for me a semiconductor company. But all the company you named, I think they have the resources, they have the talent, definitely to build up their own solution, especially because when you verticalize, when you know your data, you know your customer, you know what you need, you can build up. Then I cannot predict the future, but I think all this company, they have the good chances to build up.
But NVIDIA's also locked up the chip on wafer substrate from TSM, so they've got the supply locked up, just like Apple locked up the supply with TSM. So I just question whether or not those because you hear a lot, at least in the US, the talking heads on the business channel, to how NVIDIA has all these competitors. You're, I think, a legitimate competitor.
We are playing different role. We are in different.
Yeah, but with competitor, now they see they're going to go Grok. They want to go to the edge, but you have a space that's, I think, safe. Elon, I think, was smart not to do that. I question whether or not these so-called competitors are going to be able to keep up. You don't want to answer.
No, I kind of answer. I think they have the resources. It may take time, but I think that this company, if they want, they can have a solution which will fulfill their own needs, right? Because NVIDIA is a completely different company. They are offering a platform for everybody. But maybe this company you name, they may have different needs.
I mean,
again, the key is not the chip development. Because people think always about NVIDIA stepping out each 18 months, this is the key. No, the key is not that. It's NVIDIA is not stepping out one accelerator. It's building each 18 months a new infrastructure. Yeah. And this is the competitive edge they have, and I still think they will keep it. Yeah. But if you put yourself in the shoes of an user, like a big corporation, one of the hyperscaler, they don't need it to, the fact that if they design their own technology, they can have also lower cost. They can also reduce the cost and pay a little bit more for their own technology because they're using it.
Lower price. Yeah. Lower cost for them because of pricing.
Because there is no margin, right? They don't pay the margin.
Not so much, the cost structure may still be an advantage, but they're going to 75% gross margin. Thank you.
Fabrizio, do you believe that the edge will be hyper-converged? Yes or no? Storage, networking, compute, AI operations,
I think it will take. I think it will, but it will take time. It will. We are at the beginning of something. Today we are far from that. It will take 5-10 years probably, but it's necessary.
Okay, if you believe that AI factories will come to the edge, you'll have chips, there'll be systems around it, system software, they're large scale, well in this case mini large scale, nodes, they're factory nodes, distributed computing, that's what it is, talk to each other. Yeah. What do you see your customers starting to think or talk about the value that will be unlocked from a device that could sit next to the far edge and manage access, multi-access method, 4G, 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G, fiber, Wi-Fi, multi-protocol access, intelligence, back-end routing.
Yeah. I think...
What are you seeing, hearing, or what's your opinion?
Well, my opinion is slightly different because my customers and our customer, the edge is a highly fragmented market. You have 100,000 of companies, large, medium, small companies, and I think the edge tends to adopt technology later. Then we are many customers are a step beyond compared to the hyperscaler because they scale slowly. They take more time. Then frankly speaking, when I think about myself and my vision is this, is a hyper-conversion where I always wonder why in my home I have a system, video surveillance system, a Wi-Fi system, a net-top box system, and they are completely disconnected. Or I can connect with software, but why I don't have one central system there? Why not? Because we are not yet there.
Yeah.
The edge is thousands of applications, thousands of vertical, and it will require time, but definitely we are going to arrive to a moment where my house will be a brain, my car will be a brain, and they will start to talk with each other with agents, right?
We agree, great vision. All right,
go ahead. I wanted to ask why RISC-V? Why you chose RISC-V and not ARM, and just take us inside your thinking there as an engineer.
Well, it's good, exactly. The decision was because we wanted to own our future. We wanted to have a technology which we could just modify and own, and also an open source technology. We think that it's very nice also to give back. That's why even in Axelera, our software stack, we try to open source as much as possible. We are contributing to the RISC-V ecosystem. Then one answer is sharing more, and the other is controlling the technology and be part of the evolution of the technology, which is not possible, clearly, if it's proprietary technology.
Yeah, and what fab do you use?
Well, we use both. Actually, we use TSMC, we use Samsung, that then we proved in just 4 years to work with both, tape out chip with both, and everything works very well. What we want to have is having a global coverage of supply chain. Then when we look at the fab, we look at the future, we want to be sure that we can manufacture our chip also in the United States soil.
What would have to happen for you to consider Intel as a fab?
Well, we actually, I think we consider Intel. I think Intel was not ready. I mean, Intel went through a lot of changes. I think Intel, it's a great player. There will be a great fab in future, and we having also a lot of operation in Europe would be great because they have manufacturing centers in Europe actually. They have in Ireland, they have in Israel, then there is also a good fit from that perspective, plus also in the United States clearly, which is one of the largest markets we have today.
So if they could prove that they can get reliability, equality, and volume, maybe a wafer scale customer, you would...
I think they will prove it.
You're not a wafer scale customer yet, but okay, no, maybe someday.
No, I think the point is that today they are focusing on probably large account and so on.
Yeah, of course.
And once they will be ready to also onboard a company like us, and there will be a common vision, definitely. Intel is a great solution. I mean, I grew up with Intel.
Of course.
Yeah. Technology. Fabrizio, great to have you on. Talk about what your goals are. Obviously, you have folks in the US, Alexis we interviewed last week, as I mentioned. What are some of the things you're working on? Put a plug in for the company, people might not know you, what you guys are doing, people watching. What's your focus, what are you optimizing for, and what's new?
Yeah, very good. First of all, we have people in the United States, we are a global company. I mean, we started in Europe, but our vision is global. We want to really play a global role in this market. What's in front of us, it's a period of growth, a period of large investment. We closed a 250 million round that we announced recently.
Yeah, congratulations.
I think it's, again, a good milestone, but there is more to come in the future. We see ourselves in a few years to go public. This is what we want to see, because we are here to build a generational company. I think Axelera, I'm a CEO co-founder, and I think even my co-founder Evangelos Eleftheriou agree that we are here to build a company which should grow further and strive also in coming 10 years, enabling and democratizing the access to AI to everybody.
Yeah.
And Innovation Industries was a Amsterdam-based VC, right? And some others as well?
Yeah, it's one of the investors, Innovation Industries. We had BlackRock, we have Side Group, we had other Samsung Catalyst, many investors. We have investors in Europe, North America, Furrier.
Why only 250 million, I'm laughing.
Well, it's a good question, because actually I receive, at the edge, it's a lot. It was the largest round, I think, for any kind of edge company. But for me, again, it's just a step further, and I think we should raise way more, because we have in front of us a generational opportunity, a multi-trillion market opportunity. We have a great technology, we prove to scale and to execute. Why, it's correct. Why only 250 and not a billion?
We will put in a good plug. If you invest in the company, tell them John sent you and give him a 20% discount on the round. He agreed to it. Fabrizio, great to have you on. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
great bet. It's paying off. The edge is hot. We see the AI on the edge as on 24-month, massive growth. AI factories are coming to the edge, software defined, virtualization is already there. Everything's in place, congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me here today.
Doing our job at theCUBE, bringing you all the action at MWC. Again, the world has changed, an architectural reset as AI comes to the edge and the core. You see a lot more of this conversation this year. I'm John Furrier, Dave Vellante. Thanks for watching.